Hello, this is Mark, back for another edition of Chun and Kung Fu. Today we're going to carry on with our book review series. I'm trying out the new camera. Hopefully the quality, sound, everything should be a little bit better. Today I'm going to be reviewing another Wing Chun book. This is by Leung Ting. Here it is, and it is his Biu-Tze book, right? So I actually think it's quite a good book. So I just as a bit of background, I had trained with some of the guys in his organisation at Hong Kong University, only a few classes. So I didn't spend a long time training with those guys. At some point I will do an overall story of who I've trained with and what my experience is. But enough to go to a few classes when my dad lived in Hong Kong and I would come over and visit. So I would come and visit and I go to a few one-off classes with the university class. So it was quite good, you know. So there are a few things that I think I prefer in other areas, but generally I thought the teacher there was quite good. So first of all, kudos to him for doing a Biu-Tze book, because obviously there's a lot of people that won't share it. They think it's different and separate and magical, and it can't ever leave the gate. I think it's a good sort of forward-looking move to say I'm going to open that up, let people read it, let people find out about it, and then I think he does quite a good job of basically going through and taking you through the form, and then describing and explaining sort of the simple basic applications from the form. So I think it's actually done in quite a good way. So if you just want to go and learn it, or you want to review it once you've already been taught it, I mean, it might be a slightly different version. That's one of the big issues with the Biu-Tze. But if you want to go and review it and think about it, and read some of his texts and think about some of the basic applications as you ponder and reflect on your own form that you've been taught, and because you've been training for a while, then I think this is quite a useful companion book. It's he sort of does this whole bio thing at the start. He does a little bit about the theory, and he talks about why it wasn't taught before, what's been done, why he changed his view on that, what the key movements are, so all those kind of good things. Then of course he does the whole, I'm going to show you every movement in my version of the form. That's fine, again, I'm not really a big fan of those, and it is a large part of the book is that. But my favourite part is the next part where he picks specific applications throughout the form, and it's not everything, it's not comprehensive, and he's quite clear about saying that. He's like, these are some of the basic applications, please do have a think and come up with your own ones and reflect on it. And then he really describes and breaks down all of the and what's going on and the theory behind it, and then also shows some pictures, some stills, right? And he does that for good number of the steps in the form. Which I thought was really good, and it's really well described and well written, with a few interesting little anecdotes in there as well, which I always love. And then he finishes off with a little bit more principles and a few correction points as well, which is another thing that I really like. Actually, I love it when people do, this is wrong, this is right, these kind of thing in these books, because it's just another way of you reflecting, and you can go, oh, actually I was doing it that way, I was making that mistake, so I can go and do I think he's right? Yeah, okay, and then I'll go and correct it. So a lot of really good, useful information in here. The other thing, just to finish off, it's quite reasonably done. It's not, it's got an index and things like that, but it's not got a full glossary of terms. But one of the things I do like in particular is his proper breakdown of the Chinese. So with traditional characters, and then also the often he might break down the description, and he's using the Cantonese pronunciation, but he might often change it or say, oh yeah, this is what it is in Mandarin, this is what the characters are, this is what the pinyin is. So I like that element, that he's exploring the language, and this is his he is an academic type guy. He likes to pass himself off as a fighter, but he's deep in his heart. I think there's two types of people that do kung fu right nowadays. Right, there are less and less of the fighter brawler types. I used to train with a lot of those guys who were bouncers, and they were like, yeah, this stuff, I've seen Bruce Lee doing it, I'm going to do it because I need to punch people in the head for my job, right? So, and now most of these guys are doing MMA, BJJ, Muay Thai, all that stuff, right? So there's less and less of those. And then there are the nerds, and I'm, one of those camp of guys, you get into it because you love it, you love the culture, you love something interesting, you find it, it's just fascinating, and then the more you train, the better you get, right? And he's definitely in that camp. He's an interest guy, he loves getting into the gritty little details, he loves the anecdotes, he loves the story, he loves the culture, he loves the language. So that's all good things. So overall, I'd say it's a pretty decent book. It's not the longest book, but it is. It's got some good parts. The forms, the common mistakes, the little anecdotes. And then the stills of the form, I think less useful. Just go and look at a video, as I've said before. But overall, I'd say it's quite a well put together book. Okay, thank you, and see you next time.